That's it. He can start.
The recording okay there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's start.
Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So our attempt is to see that how we can, first of all, establish the base for the Sanatana Dharma. Afterwards, when it comes to the application, then we have all these practices, how our culture has taken up various activities under the Sanatana Dharma. All those things we would like to take up, all the questions, all the answers. Why it is required is that this culture has such a great variety. We accepted, we uh, mm, appreciated, respected this particular variety in this culture, whether it is languages that we take, or the customs that we take, or the practices that we take. I want to bring all those things under Sanatana Dharma, how this Dharma has become the base of this particular culture. That's what I will try to bring about in the next one. But first of all, that we need to establish the need for this, or the actually what is the Sanatana Dharma. So in that process that I'm trying to cover these ideas, the first place that where Dharma is that which holds, and then I see that how Satya is one thing, and then all these Dana is something, all these things are there. And finally we came to a level of Tyaga. Why I said finally? Because Tyaga is something which all other things deal with at the material level. Tyaga is something which tries to give us a hint that is beyond the material level. And that becomes a very important purpose of this particular culture. In the other cultures, what happened all over the world is that other than this material world, they have only one thing called as heaven or hell. And somebody will be condemned to hell, or somebody is given the appreciation in the heaven. But the idea is that what is after that? How long are you going to be in hell? How long are you going to be in heaven? And where is the gradation that you see? Somebody has done greater harm, somebody has done lesser harm. Both of them are condemned to hell. So is it the same thing? So all these questions, they are not answered. And only thing is, it's all like belief, more like a belief. In this culture, there is something which is questioning. So, but this culture also has taken now a leap into a level which is beyond the level of material. And that's what is Tyaga. And the idea that it has taken is totally different from the way that the other cultures have taken, because other cultures have given the picture of heaven and hell. It's nothing but an extension of earth only. There is nothing beyond that. Whatever you are getting it here, you're getting there. So what we really looking at now is that it is not the extension of this, is totally different from this. And that is the idea of Tyaga. That's why he says that whatever that this world can give you, all these things, in fact, in order to see that you have to get something in this material world, manifest world, these are the few things that we do it very sophisticated way. Like, for example, simply eating food and living and making merry is an ordinary level. But we have a higher level than that already in this world. And that's what is by karma, by praja, by dhana. These are the things that we try to look for. But then here he says the idea, nakarmana na pratyadhanena tyagena kya amrutatva maharsh. Amrutatva is that you can achieve with the help of tyaga. Now, this is a higher degree, higher level that he is speaking about. Now, what is this tyaga? Another thing is that this tyaga is a part of the creation itself. It's in the manifested world. So you can see always this yaga. And also it is something which is beyond it tries to give. So in the normal course of time, when you take an example, we can see that the seed gives itself up completely, its identity, so that it becomes a plant. And there the seed, when you look at from the seed angle, seed just does not know what is next. But then seed is prepared to give up. The same way, a river gives up itself completely so that it becomes an ocean. Because we are seeing from outside, you can see the river and ocean. Whereas if you are river consciousness, what is going to happen? You have just only a shraddha that you just go and merge with the ocean, and that's all. Your identity is lost. There is a very beautiful example. Somebody said that every river is going towards the ocean. So one river also tried to go towards the ocean, but suddenly got caught up in the middle of the desert. And while going through the desert, half of the water is absorbed, I mean, evaporated, it has gone underground and all that. And slowly the river sees that river doesn't exist anymore. The water seems I'm getting lost and all those things. I say, what's really happening? And that water says that, what happened to me? I'm completely lost. It's a poetic expression, very beautiful. It says that, don't worry. The sun replies to him saying that, I am taking you to the ocean. In the form of, transformed you, becoming a water to become vapor, and then vapor that you go, and I put it in the ocean so that your journey completes. A beautiful concept of transformation. Now, yourness you have to give up so that you become part of the vapor to go to the ocean. So, this is the kind of thing. In fact, this expression of giving up something and then surrendering yourself, this is what is the idea of tyaga. Uh, the several such stories have come up. Like, for example, one more story is that a person who is gives an expression. Rabindranath Tagore has given this idea. Give an expression saying that I was walking on the sand, I found out two pairs of footprints. I thought that you are always with me, but suddenly I see that one pair that is there. So, did you leave me? So you left me alone. I felt frightened. Then God said, no, no, I'm carrying you now. That you don't have the footsteps, my footsteps are there. See, all these expressions show that there is a transformation that has to take place. Again and again, this kind of transformation, we can see everything. The simple idea of Brahmarpanam Brahmavi, there also we say that as a milk, it just destroys the fire, but it needs a transformation. And the transformation in three stages. Once it curdles, that means its natural state has given up and it's become curd. And then it has to go through the whole of churning. After churning, then you get the butter. And butter also that you simmer it so that ghee comes. Ghee, you put it in the fire, ghee is completely melted. So ghee is there inside the milk, but it has to go through all this process. This process, they call it as tapas. So this brings about the next concept that all the ideas of yaga is looked at from the point of view of tapas. So therefore, now that leads us to the next level, that the root, the basis for our dharma is tapas. It's not ordinary thing. From Tyaga, we said the basis of the Sanathana Dharma is Tyaga. One of the basic pillars of Sanathana Dharma is Tyaga. And the basis, what is the prachana, that means what is the background behind the Tyaga, is this idea of tapas. This gives us now the new concept in that, which is there embedded in this particular thing, and which is part of the nature again. Tapas is a part of the nature that is there. And where do we see this kind of tapas? Yes, everywhere you can see. We call it as firewood. Firewood means basically it has fire in it, but you touch it, it is cold. But initially it has to go through that particular process of heating in the fire itself. Once it becomes catches fire now, then it gives fire. But initially it has to go through that. So this process that it goes through is what is called as tapas. And that is what you can see that everywhere that the tapas is there. The tree has to grow itself, connect everything and all that. Then the tree has to give up so that it becomes the seeds, and then seeds give up so that it becomes tree. So this cycle is going on everywhere. You can see that a tapas is involved, followed by this abhyasa and vairagya. These are the two things that are the components of this particular culture. And more tapas that you do, greater you are, the higher that you reach. So this is the part of this particular culture. Somebody who goes through the less of this tapas, less of this effort, is at the lower level. And somebody who does more and more, it's up to you how much you can do it, go to a higher level. So this is what basically the idea that is there. But then last time that there was this question that is there. One thing is that you need to do the work here. Purvanneveha karmani jijivishe shatam samaha jivitamicchet. Shatam samaha for 100 years. If you are taking about one life, it is 100 years. Life after life after life, every time is multiplied by 100. So that means you are continue to live. Why? This is what Krishna gives the idea in Bhagavad Gita, saying that karyate yavasha karma. Karma is the part of this creation. Activity is part of the creation. In fact, the moment activity is gone, there's no creation. Activity has to happen. And he says that the moment that you do activity, that you get caught up in that. So therefore, it is like going through uh, the smoke, and then you are touched by the dirt that is there. You are going through that. But is there a way that you can come out of it? There is, it seems that there is no other alternative. You have to go through this. So there is no other alternative. So therefore, you cannot avoid it. The only way that you can avoid it, you will not be born. That's the only thing. But the moment having been born, going through this life, now you have to go through this life. You can't deny it. Even if you deny it, you'll come back again, continue with this. Because your coming back is not in your hands. Somebody has brought you, suddenly you realize you are here. So therefore, that there is a need for you to understand that how we can do it. This is where basically, when you come to that helpless level, then Isavasya Upanishad gives us a clue, saying that 100 years you continue with this karvanne veh karmani, jiji vishet, jivita michet. It's not that simply like that. Somehow managing. It's not like that. It has to be positive. Why it has to be positive is that we are the people who have taken to this path are the people that who have inspired, who have to inspire others. If you don't inspire others, then where is the question of that they accepting the way of life it is? I keep saying, of course, in a different context, I say that when you are married, whatever may be the marriage, love marriage or marriage and love, whatever it is, you have to project to the younger generation that marriage is an extraordinary, wonderful institute. Otherwise, you can't inspire the next generation. It's your duty to inspire that. So, therefore, the same way, this life I have to inspire anybody who comes into this world. And the moment that the child comes into this world and said, this world is horrible, this is horrible, it's not spiritual knowledge. Spiritual knowledge is supposed to be giving a positive idea. And many schools, unfortunately, has given a negative sense. World is horrible, world is negative.
Life is suffering.
Life is full of suffering. Life is nothing but these things. Only the way that you escape from the life is death. So therefore, accept the death, invite the death. Can you believe it that this is the spiritual knowledge a lot of people have given? I don't know whether you heard that there is in Guinness Book of Records, there's one a record which has been mentioned for an ill fame, actually. It's not. And before all this Guinness Book of Records, I knew it in America that there was one spiritual giant, his spiritual great master. His name was Jim Jones. And then he collected more than 1,000 people took them for a spiritual retreat to Caribbean islands. In the Caribbean islands, he gave them the message for 7 days that how horrible life is, how terrible life is not worth living, life is full of this, and every day that every moment you live is nothing but you are accruing, nothing but sin, this, that, and all that. So best thing is better. Best thing is to die as early as possible. And at the end of the retreat, 1,000 people they took the cyanide poison and killed themselves. That's the reason why it has come to the Guinness Book of Records. Is that the spiritual message? The spiritual message is something that even when there is no hope, we should be able to give them the hope, positivity. If you have to give the positivity, then I have to live in this life. And the moment I have to live in this life, then I say that, all the dust is uh, corrected on me. So how this Upanishad says that, Kurvanne veha karmana jijishe shatam samaha, evam toyi nan anyate tosti, na karma lipyate. There is this one particular thing that he has given, which is a hint there. Nakarma lipyate nare. Karma should not be touching you. How karma should not be touching you? There are two ways that you can do that. One is that karma anyway touches the body, anyway touches the mind, intellect, all those things. It's without all those things, karma cannot be done. So karma has all these aspects of it. You do one thing, that you separate from all these things in the form of observer, sakshi. You be sakshi to your intellect, you be sakshi to your mind, you be sakshi to your body. Every activity you become an observer. You just observe. You are an observer. In fact, it's a very profound way of saying that when you are involving in the activity, that you are doing 100 activities. But what happens is, all these 100 activities, you move them as activity outside, and then you are only observing. That means million activities, million thoughts can be converted into only Triputi. Triputi means observer, observe, and the object outside. Everything is an object outside. This is one way to do it. That's why spiritual knowledge always emphasizes on this particular sakshi. You become an observer. So the second aspect is much more important, is that you become an actor. So they don't get caught up in all those things. You are an actor, you are doing a role is given. This has been very profoundly said in the Vedanta a number of times. So therefore, whatever that is there is something which is it's going on as it is, but you can take it up in the two different roles, as one person who is involved in that, and the second person. The second is that all these things are like upadhi. Now, this upadhi dharma, upadhi is that it's like you have taken the role of that. Like the simple thing is, I am is original, but the role that I am the father is a role. It's an upadhi dharma. It's not me. The father will get affected. I'm not getting affected. Anything happens that father suffers, not me. Anything happens, mother suffers, but not me. So that what happens, that mother's role has all those kind of things. That's what is the. And then you do whatever you would like to do it. Not that you are doing it, it's the mother doing it, or the father doing it, or the husband doing it, or the wife doing it, not you. And that's something which you can see, that you can switch the roles, one upadhi to second upadhi, the third upadhi, all those things, and how easily that you switched. Like, for example, you're a girl, suddenly you become a mother, you become a wife, and you become husband, mother. So, what has changed? Nothing has changed you. Upadhi changed. Upadhi keeps changing. And Upadhi has all these qualities that are there, all these requirements that are there. Take it as an Upadhi Dharma. Agantuka. It just comes up. It has got all those kind of things. So therefore, what happens is that you always remind yourself that you're the gold, you're not the ornament. You are the water, and whatever container that you put, it takes that shape, and they take that quantity, and then it just goes on. You're just doing like that. If you can take that way, then nothing really upsets you. The father will have a problem, mother will have a problem, but individual doesn't have a problem. So this is what is the idea of uh, Jivitamich. And then when you become like this, that an actor, and given the role, today you are given this role, tomorrow you are given different role. You take care of that role, and then day after tomorrow you can give a different role. So different roles we have. And actually, the person who is doing the role is not touched by the emotions that are there. You are free from those emotions. In fact, when you are free from the emotions, you can do much better acting than the original. That's why I say in Ram Leela, that actor Rama cried much better than the original Rama because original Rama did not have an opportunity to rehearse, whereas this fellow rehearsed. But many times what happens is that even in spite of the fact that we know all these things, we become part of that role. See, rather than that becomes an action. You don't be, that becomes like a play. What Vedanta says is that take the life as play, but we take the play as life, the other way around. The play is supposed to just simply enjoy. Every play is to enjoy. There is no play which is not to enjoy. And just like this is what the way that it is play has been explained. Like there are some 10 people together and they said in the evening, let's spend some time together. How? Let's play football and then divide into two groups. Now, the moment they divide into two groups, I say, this is my group, this is opposite group, this is enemy group, this is my group. And then ball that you hit the ball and then you go to that. They said, why did you give it to the opposite fellow? They say, give it to me, like this. So there is a fight that's going on. But at the end of 2, 3 hours, that's what is the idea. Then just let them come out of it, finish. And then afterwards, you're all friends. But then this becomes so serious. Today, the players become so serious that if your team does not win, you break the TV, and TV portfolio. TV has nothing to do with that. It just gave transmission to whatever that's happening. But then you break the TV. You just say countries fight with each other. So this is what's going on. A play becomes so real. It so happened in Ramlila also. A fellow is really very strong and hefty and this is like a Palwan. He was playing the role of Ravan. And and every time, every evening, that the play is there, and then he plays Ravan, and then he hardly can lift the uh, Shiv Dhanush, and then finally Rama breaks a Shiv Dhanush and then takes away Sita. And he's in love with Sita. So one day he said, how long am I going to do all these things? One day he just took out this Shiv Dhanush and then broke the Shiv Dhanush himself. And said, yes, now I broke it. So Sita belongs to me, like that he said. What to do? Immediately that Janaka is also very smart guy. He's a very intelligent guy. Immediately he said, he shouted at the servants. He said, servants go, Are, who brought this old Dhanush here? I wanted to bring the Shiva Dhanush here. Who brought some old Dhanush here? No, no. Now take this Dhanush away and then bring the Shiva Dhanush. Made an order and drop the curtains.
This is what happens even in Yakshagana. Yakshagana.
Yeah, Yakshagana.
One fellow from the audience repeat once more, once more. Whole audience.
Right. And people also get involved in that. It's not drama, people get involved. In Mahabharata, such an extraordinary, wonderful action is done by that Punit Isar. Punit Isar is Ravan, is Duryodhana. In Punjab, when he went and he was in a restaurant having food, suddenly people said, this fellow is Duryodhana. He gets so much of trouble to Draupadi. So all those people came and started attacking him. And then they had to run to the police station, take the protection and all that. So,
Yeah, Nidin Raj is he's considered Krishna only, no?
yeah, right. Krishna was Krishna, Rama was Rama. So everybody touches his feet. This is Bharadwaj. So people also take that real, say, action. They also become real. It's an act. So this is what Vedanta said is take the life as play, but we take the play as life. This is the problem of, this is what is Maya. Very well, you know that this is not what it is, but still this your mind mind misguides you. One has to be very careful about that. So therefore, take this world as a play. And that's why Judge Bernard Shaw said, why 10 people are there, give them 10 balls so that they will not be fighting with each other. But you put one ball there. Give all the 10 people 10 balls. That's right. So this way, essentially, that once you think like that, it can only be possible that uh, events do happen. Then what happens? The life is not success or failure. So life is not profit or loss. Life is events. And God gives us an event only. Not only events here, look at the way everywhere it is nothing but events. And the forest, who is there to watch? But then suddenly some hurricane comes and then all the trees fall, and something happens, rivers flood. Suddenly the tsunami comes up. How does it matter? See, it's all happening. Not only today, it's happening all the time. So that means to say there is no question of right or wrong as long as the human being is not there. The question comes right and wrong and all that because the human being. Take it as events. The moment that you take them events, that's what the nature is there. If I want to see that human being also can develop in that way as part of the nature, then the dharma is that you are given events, not the question of right or wrong, good and bad, and not the question of whether you know it or not. See, just event. Yes, you guess certain things to happen, they don't happen, it doesn't matter. Can we take them as the events rather than success, failure, this and that? They are the people who are spiritual. In Ramayana, there's one incident that happened, very beautiful incident. After Sita was sent to the forest, at that point of time, uh, Lakshmana, because Sita is not there, the whole place is like melancholy, sad, and everybody is silent. Sumant also was getting, Lakshmana was getting bored. He was going around to see anybody can find, and then he saw Sumant sitting under a tree. He went to Sumant and then Nara Sumant. So you are sitting alone. Sumant is lost in his thoughts. Then where else to go? He sat down next to him. And then Sumant, all of a sudden, he just said something which is loud. He said, people know it. But see, look at the way that I want. They go through that in spite of the fact they know it, even though it is. Then immediately Lakshmana said, Suman, what is that you are talking about? Oh, you are here? Yes, I've been here last half an hour. Nowhere else to go, so therefore I'm sitting here. And then suddenly you came out saying that people know it, but they go through this. I don't know what context that you said that. Is that, see, your dad knows that he has to send his son to the forest, Rama. And events will happen, whatever be events will happen, but that will lead to the idea that his son has to go to the forest, and in the process that he will die. Both these things are known. How did he know? He said, yeah, Baba, it happened long time back, even before all these people are born. At that point of time, I was there accompanying your father, and then we went to the forest. Shravan Kumara incident happened. Shravan Kumara's father cursed that you will also die with the viraha of your own son. At that time, I didn't pay much attention. Dad also didn't pay much attention because we don't even have children. Like that was the main issue. They don't have any children. Afterwards, Putra Kameshti Yaga happened and then children are born. And now, so all this is apparently forgotten, but then it is there in the background. And so your dad knows about it. Arey, nobody told me about this. What would I have done? Arey, I would have stopped it. I would not allow father to die. I would not have allowed Rama to go to the forest. So you'll say here, all right, we'll postpone that event of Rama going to the forest later time, but at least now he should be there for another few years until father is there. All that. Who says that, You think that you are stronger than your father? Your father could not stop it. He knew it. I couldn't stop it. Everybody knows about it. But then, in spite of it, all this thing happened. No, I could have stopped it. Don't talk of all these things. You can't stop it. Why? You say, even Rama couldn't stop it. Oh, that means Rama also knew. Rama knows. Rama also knew, but he went to the forest. Yes. Rama also knew, he went to the forest. In spite of the fact he knows his father is going to die. How did Rama know about it? Don't ask me all these silly questions because there's nothing which Rama doesn't know. He knows everything. That means even Sita to be sent to the forest, he knows it. Are Baba, he knows about everything. But why did he send to the forest? See, I'm too small a person to answer these questions. I only think that I can wonder at the events. How the people take it. They're great people, whatever the event happens, they take it. No, I should find out. I'll go and I'll have to find. Want to find out, go to Rama and ask. He's the right person. Then immediately he rushes to Rama. Rama is sitting there. He goes to Rama and says, Rama, Suman says like this, blah, 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 all that. Rama listens to all those things and then says, so therefore, Bhaiya, I want to ask you this question. You knew all those things and allowed the things to happen? Rama replies with a smile. He says to Lakshmana, it's not important to know what's going to happen. Keeping yourself cool in whatever situation, that's what is spirituality. Our Sanathana Dharma is that, can you maintain your cool whatever that happens in the world outside? Because there is some other higher Lord who takes care of all those things. That. These are the things which are there in our scriptures, but in the real life also did you not see that, like for example, this Thomas Edison, he did 1,000 experiments to create a bulb and the bulb was failure. He could never. And the General Electric Company manager calls him and says that, what happened? How was your research going on? It's successful. What is the success? I tried 1,000 experiments, but then where is the result? I said, I found out that those 1,000 are not the method by which you can produce a bulb. All that is eliminated. Now I might produce tomorrow, next day. See, that means they're just events. That's all. Can we take them as events? The same thing like that you can see in the case of Abraham Lincoln also. He was a failure in the high school, he is failure in this thing, and then he failed in marriage. Marriage also, he was divorced. And then everything was a failure. As a law, he was barrister law, he was a total failure. He could not win anything. Nothing he won, but finally he became president of America. Something happened somewhere. So that's how the whole thing. Abdul Kalam, he didn't have money to go for exam. He failed in that, but then later on, look at the way he became the president of India. So that means these are all events. Even when you take them as events, it means the other cases that you take the event. Can you take the events in your life? Then you become spiritual. Yes, things happen. That's why we have this kind of stories where, this Janaka, he was a beggar in the dream, and then suddenly he dies, and then beggar has all the problems. Then he woke up, he suddenly said, is that the King Janaka having the dream of a beggar, or the beggar is having the dream of a King Janaka? Which is right? Because both these things are events only. These are the basic questions. So can we take them as just an observer event, or just as a upadhi? Several upadhis that are there, they go through that. Then what happens? What happens at that time is that upadhi is not the dharma of the upadhi. It's not your dharma. It's like the way mirror dharma is to reflect. That's all. Mirror doesn't have any attachment. Upadhi lakshana is that it cannot have attachment. That's why nakarma lipyate nare, that happens. And of all the things, the karma lepa happens only about the karma phala. See, why, when do you say that karma is successful or not successful? Wasted my life by effort and this and that. All those things come looking at the fruit of action. The moment that you are dissociated from the fruit of action, all these other things drop off. Like, for example, whether success or failure, right way or wrong way, or you are the right person or not, you are the right person, all these things drop off. Look at the way how strongly it will come up. 1,000 people say that you have done a great job, but one person says you have not done a great job. That one person bugs us all the time. Gee, next time when I do, I should get the appreciation from that person, because that one person becomes so important. Why he said like that? Why she said like that? I don't know. Everybody agrees, but my wife is the last person to appreciate me. My husband is the last person to appreciate me. These are the things.
Yes, forget it.
So all these things come because that he has given importance to both these things. Success, failure, this, that. Yeah. And that is all connected with the karma phala. And first thing, that's why Krishna struck on that particular thing. Karma phala doesn't belong to you. Karma phala belongs to
Karma lepa? What is it? Karma lepa?
Karma lepa. Lepa means actually that a
Ointment. Lepam.
lepam
To
is
apply, no?
painting. Karma lipyate. Lipyate. Lepa means basically that the karma is anointed on you, is painted on you.
So karma is painted on you. So continuation.
So he says that na karma lipyate. Karma should not become an attachment, not become a lepa. And that word karma lepa is something which is very important. And then this also, upadhi, is also very important because basically that it is the upa means actually samit. So because you are close to it, it mounts on you. It becomes attachment to you. The karma becomes a lepa. The idea of lepa is such a beautiful thing that he brings about. Lepa is any kind of clouds or anything like that on the sky, it cannot taint the sky. The water can be reflected on any kind of water. It may be a dirty pond, it may be a nice thing or anything like that. But you see that the sun will not be tainted by all those things. Moon will not be tainted by that. Lepa is not there. So when you look at the nature, when they are doing all those things, like for example, sun doesn't say, or the moon doesn't say that there is dirty water, I don't want to reflect on this dirty water. No, it does not have any choice at all. Just says that, okay, wherever it happens, it happens. It remains as pure. Now it goes to much deeper level, saying that what's happening to you also, it is the same thing. Like a simple idea is that an object that you are looking at, the light is coming from the object, light itself is traveling. If the light is not there, you don't see the object. You see the object because there is light. The same object is there in the night. You don't see it, but the sunlight falls on that, then you see it. That means very clearly it is that what you are seeing, the light, not the object. So therefore, it's light that you are seeing, not the object. But you recognize that object, this and that, and all that, that may be all right. But the truth is that your only light is traveling. And light is falling on your window called as the eye. And then behind that, there is occipital cortex where it is a picture is created. That light has falls on that. And who picks up that light? Only thing that can see that light is not your eyes, is not your mind, is not your intellect, but it's only the consciousness which sees that. And the consciousness does not have any particular thing. Male or female, good and bad, right and wrong. Consciousness does not have any of those things. The consciousness, it is a rendezvous, it is a joint between the consciousness and the light. And light itself is consciousness. Sun himself becomes what is the light? Shine. And that goes into the sun. So it's a connection between the consciousness and the sun that's going on. And you're only a facilitator in between. That's all. You don't have anything else to do it. The moment you take this particular view, then you are dropped. You are not there anymore. See, you're a facilitator. That's what is called as upadhi. Upadhi is actually a passage. You're just a passage between the son, the child, and you. You're an upadhi as a father. When you take this as a upadhi dharma, then you're not touched by that. Na karma lipyate. Then actually, when you look at this upadhi dharma, what is the tyaga that you are doing? Tyaga, one sense it is the karma phala. Second thing is the doer himself is given up. Has given up. When the doer is not there, then the seed will die, plant will come up, plant will die, and then seed will come up. Egg will go, and then chicken will come, chicken will go, egg will come. So it's the process that's going on. This process is what is nature has this process as dharma. And then can we do that? That's why the ultimate idea of this particular thing, that whatever that is the higher cycle that's happening, is what is that dharma. Dharma is that which takes you to that. So this is what tyaga is very important. So tyaga has the idea of now giving up. Giving up means basically it's what is the idea of uh, the yajna or the whatever that tapas. Tapas has to happen. Without the tapas, tyaga cannot happen. Without earning, then only that you give it. Earn to give it. So therefore that you cannot stop. You cannot say, I don't want to do it. You have to do it. And then after that, you give it up. So that's why part of this particular dharma is this idea of indriya nigraha. Tapas is indriya nigraha. So therefore, that next component of Sanatana Dharma is that nigraha. Indriya nigraha sense. That's why he says that Shraddhavan labhate jnanam tatparaha sanyatendriyaha jnanam labdha param shantim na chirenati gacchati. So that idea of sanyatendriya, jitendriyaha, that's what is the important component of it. Sense discipline. So Sanatana Dharma, when you look at it, it's nothing but you discipline yourself. Whatever the discipline that's there in the nature, by natural arrangement, and you have the discipline, you have to introduce. Then only you become Sanatana Dharma. Like, for example, the nature, that's what we have seen, Bhartrihari's quote. This Bhartrihari's story is beautiful. See, the quote that Bhartrihari says is that Ahara Nidra Bhayamaitunancha, all those things are common for human being and animal. That's where one of the first starting point I gave it. Then Buddhiri Tesha Madhiko Visesha, Buddhir Vihina Pashavi Saman. What is that buddhi? Buddhi is that whatever that is we are missing because we are human being, and that you introduce in the form of buddhi. It is like the way that sensory organs are given by the nature to the world outside for the various aspects of the nature, an inbuilt safety mechanism. They don't excess. There is a forest animal. Everything is there in the forest, but they don't eat more than what their hunger permits. Nidra, they don't sleep more than what the sleep requirement for. So that means they have inbuilt safety mechanism that we have, but we don't have that. Human being doesn't have that. So we have to introduce it from outside. That's why Shraddha is there. Shraddhaman labhate jnana. But Shraddha alone is not sufficient. Shraddha is you have devotion for that. You have passion for that. You are getting that knowledge. But that's not sufficient. It's a samyata indriya. Have you turned this indriya samyama? That is what is important. India control. Can I close my eyes and say that I don't want to open my eyes? These are the things which are really required in it. So this sanyama is what is in the form of tapas. Now the question is that the sanyama is like this, controlling of the senses, and then tapas seem to be going through the hardship. But in what way they are connected? Yes, we need to look into it. But everywhere that you can see in this culture, whoever is supposed to be a spiritual person, you can see that sanyama, that means the indriya discipline, is something which is always suggested. Like, for example, any ceremony, any dharmic activity that you take up, immediately there is sanyama that is there. That means to say, some way or the other, discipline is introduced. Shraddha ceremony, you can't have breakfast until you finish the Shraddha. And often, all the other days, 12 o'clock breakfast, lunch, whereas the Shraddha date is 3 o'clock. So that means until 3 o'clock that you fold yourself. And that also previous night you cannot have anything. See, that means sanyama is there. Like that, so many sanyamas are given in our culture, umpteen number of culture. And not only in our culture, other cultures also try to have some little aspect of it. Like, for example, in the case of Islam, the sanyama is given in the form of during the Ramadan fasting. They don't even take it. In fact, they are not supposed to even gulp the saliva. So it is so strict. But I don't know who will see that, whether you got saliva or not.
Even Ayyappa.
Ayyappa, look at the way that
40 days.
40 days afterwards, they, without
48.
mandala
48 days.
and without chappal, and then all these days you wear only the black cloth.
Yeah.
All those things, a rigorous tapas. So tapas is there suggested in various things in the other cultures also. So that's why when I went to one of the most sacred Islamic places in Turkey, supposed to be Konya, which is the birthplace of Jalaluddin Rumi. And I'm a fan of Rumi. I keep a lot of quotes from Rumi, keep talking about it. So they really found out that you know more about Rumi than we know. We only know Rumi's place. So that Rumi University invited me for a talk there. When I was invited there, when I went to the Rumi's place, then they said, while going from Istanbul, I was going to the Konya. 100 people, more than 100 people said that you should not carry a water bottle with you because the moment they find out that you have a water bottle with you, they will arrest you. Yeah, because you cannot even take your saliva. How can you drink water?
Is it Ramadan period?
During the Ramadan period, you can't eat anything, you can't even take water. Saliva you can't drink. So the moment that you see the water bottle in your hand, they will arrest you. They will put you into, because Islam is very harsh on that sense. So that's why I should not take all those things. But only thing is that evening, I'll have a nice dinner. And that dinner is called as iftar, special dinner. Because after the whole day of fasting, and then I give up that. So that day, that they said the iftar is organized by mayor of the place, Konya. So you are supposed to participate. I said, Baba, please don't invite me to that because non-vegetarian. Everybody eats non-vegetarian. No, we made special arrangement for vegetarian food for you. And they have taken that pains, and then mayor himself ordered all those things. So I went there. And actually, Turkish food is very picturesque, lavish.
Yeah.
See, they have pile of 5, 6 plates, 5 plates or 6 plates. So that each plate is designated for a particular kind of a thing. So the first plate on top of it, they have some cheese, this, that, and all those things. You eat it and then throw that plate away. That means somebody will take away. And the next plate will be there. There are certain items like, the second item, sweet items. Then you take it away. And third plate will be there. I said, where is the main course? He said, main course will come in the last plate.
By the time we are full.
By the time we are full. And they have plates are also very fancy. Square type plates, triangular plates. So triangle like that. All that. So anyway, all those things are over. Then I said, what a wonderful art. And there's another thing is that their rice dishes are supposed to be cold dishes. They're not hot dishes. So like that, they have got their own way. But I enjoy everything. Me, somehow God has given
Food
me a
is
gift like
interesting.
that.
Turkish food is interesting.
No complaint at all. So after all those things, I said that this is what is I found out that a discipline in that. Similarly, in Christianity, discipline is there during the Easter.
Yeah.
See, a country and a culture where always they take meat. During Easter, they don't eat meat.
Lent days, you say.
Huh?
Lent days.
Lent day.
40
Yes,
days before.
Lent day.
Lent days.
Right.
They say they will not have non-veg.
Yeah. So it is like, so that what happens is that, and that I found out because I went to one of the Bulgaria, one of the cities in Bulgaria. That is the old part of just like Eastern Europe countries. So there is a monastery that I went there. My friend, myself, we stayed, and the nuns were there. So nuns were serving. And then my friend told the nun that he will not eat meat. He will eat only vegetarian. Then that nun very innocently said, no, East is over. 2 days back, East is over. Now you can eat meat. Then I came to know during Easter they don't eat meat. So you can eat meat now. Then my friend said, no, no, he doesn't eat meat at all. Then there is a younger nun, 20, 25 years. And then she said, wow, he never eat meat in his lifetime. Said, no, he never ate meat. Immediately, the younger girl, she was so excited. She gave an expression saying that, wow, he must be really spiritual. The older one got irritated. She said, no, nothing to spiritual. Their culture, they don't eat meat. She wanted to correct it. Anyway, it's all like that. So that time I came to know that during the Easter that they don't eat meat. For a culture where they constantly eat meat morning, afternoon, evening, they don't eat meat. It's a really discipline. Tapas like that. So Islam is there, culture is there, this is there. In paganistic also that they have this particular thing. So all these things are there. In India that we come to, in Sanathana Dharma, right, left and middle, you have all those things. So discipline, all the time. So therefore, you can see that how much of importance is given to dharma and discipline in the case of dharma. So prema, tyaga, karuna, indriya nigraha, and dana, all these things are the components of dharma. So if I have to define dharma, dharma means any interaction that you do has any one or more of these components. Does it have tyaga? Does it have dana? Or does it have a satya, vrata? Or does it have the vrata of this thing? So all these things are supposed to be aspects of dana, the Sanatana Dharma. So look at any dharmic activity. A festival means actually all these things are done. On one side it is festival, but on the other side that you have all these things embedded in this particular thing. That's why we have the Sanatana Dharma. They have one festival of Ramadan, they have one festival of Easter, but we have 20 festivals, every festival. Not only, and we have kind of festivals like this that the festival of family, there are so many 16 samskaras are there, and the festival of the culture that is there. And then added to that, we also festivals of the local places. So, like that, there are so many things that are there. Life is full of these things. That's why Sanatana Dharma is all these components, which the Christianity to a bit has, Islam has. So these are the things when you look at just only the practical level, look at the way Islam has it. 5 times you have to do namaz. And then you can't escape that if you have become an Islam. But so many people don't do it. But that's basically the way it is. Now, it looks like that we have explained about Dharma, completely given the picture of Dharma totally. But I still have not answered any of the questions. I have not even touched the questions. And then I have also given the examples of how people followed these things. Rama followed, Lakshmana followed, and then Bhishma followed. All these things are there. So therefore, I have examples here in this culture, both in terms of Puranas and in terms of Itihasa, we have the examples. And we have living examples in the day-to-day people follow that. So all these things are there. Now Dharma has well explained. The real question comes here. Everything is over, then what is there more to talk about Dharma? But you have not yet answered a lot of questions. That's where the whole suspension remains. What is that suspension? I'll just give a small little hint, but I will not touch upon that. The question is that why should I follow Dharma? This why question, because this culture is the one which always encourages questioning. Why we have to do this Dharma? In the other cultures, they said you are Muslim, so therefore you have to do this Dharma. You are Christian, therefore you have to do this. In Hinduism is the only culture, or Sanathana Dharma is the only culture, you can question, all right, why should I do it? Because you see that's why we have this variety. There are some people who don't do it, and then we do it. Some people do it. You insist on me, but my own classmate is there. His mother doesn't insist on him. So why should I do it? You are asking me to do it, he is not doing it. His mother is not asking. We see this kind of a thing. Next door neighbors, they are doing it. Something which is, I don't know why they are doing it, but we don't do any of those things. Children will come ask the questions both ways. Why we are not doing or why we have to do it. See, both these questions, equally powerful questions. And you cannot say just because that you're a Hindu, or and there also another question that, oh, they follow their Iyengaris, they don't do it. But whereas you are a Mudra, so therefore you have to do it. Wow. All right, I will also be angry all the time. I will be Iyengar all the time. I don't have to do it. See, immediately this question, the burden of this answering this question lies on us. And the parents, how much parents will know it? Can't know it because vast culture that is there. So we have to have people who can give answers for that. And unfortunately today, that logical answering people are not in a position to give it. Swamiji, sannyasins, everyone, all the best that we say is that Rama followed it, Krishna followed it, your grandfather followed it, therefore you do it. But that's not an answer. If they follow it, you mean to say that I have to follow it? What's the logic behind it? So therefore, the dharma is, basis of dharma itself is questioned. Unless until we solve that riddle, we will not be able to satisfy dharma. Then you can see that once you answer that, then all this variety, everything will come into the picture. So that basic question, why dharma? Can you logically answer? Because in this culture, the highest faculty that we have accepted as the intellect. Intellect, the method of intellect is questioning. In fact, there was a very interesting thing. And that was one meeting that was going on somewhere. And then I was sitting there, it was a Rotary meeting. And I was sitting there. Next to me was a Muslim. And then he showed me the book. Raghuramji, I have seen this book written by a Christian father. And the father writes that in Christianity that you have to do the same thing, like, to show compassion, you have to do this, help your neighbor, this and that, all those things. At the end of it, he says, but he is actually theology professor in a university, and then he is written that book. He said, one of the students in my class got up and asked me this question that, why should I do this? The best answer I could do is, Jesus said, so you do it. Then Jesus said it, you follow it. Don't tell me that I should do it. I don't have to follow it. Give me the logical answer. Just because Jesus said it, you do it. I can't take that idea. So is there any logical answer? And then the professor confesses in that book, saying that if we answer this question of the student, Christianity survives. If you don't answer this question, Christianity, one generation you can continue saying that, come on, you have to do it because you follow Christ. But second generation, I cannot convince him. And the same thing applies to even Hindu culture also. Unless until we logically answer that question satisfyingly, then you cannot really take them to further. This culture survived 10,000 years because we had a logic, we had an answer for that. That's why we need to go back to all that literature that we had. So let me take up next time onwards after I come back, the idea of what is the literature behind all this thing. We'll look into that. Thank you. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Yes.
See if there is any chat.
We have talked about the pillars of the Dharma.
Yeah.
So where does this Daya, Karuna, Prema, these things, where does it come in Dharma?
Yeah.
Are they not pillars?
They are pillars only. That's why I put all those things. Shraddha. Last time when I was talking about Shraddha, I said Shraddha is a manifestation of love and Prema, Karuna and all that. And then Shraddha is a part of it. Shraddhavan Lapate Jnana. With the Shraddha only, these things will be there.
So that's also
Part of
Shraddha, part of Shraddha.
Dharma. Part of Dharma. Part of the Shraddha. Yes.
You have answered that question. Somebody has asked a question, why I should follow Dharma, but that you are saying that next week you're going to cover, and everyone have told bon voyage and have a safe trip and all. They have
Oh,
written.
okay.